we should have Jackie Siroke as chair of the session. Jackie, are you with us?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Is that Ben?
Available. Thanks, everyone. We are now in the temperature session. This should be an exciting phase, but unfortunately, we had an overlap of time. I'm not sure what the organizers would say, but I only have about 15 minutes. That's not fair. But we do have a session that will deal with feedback from the rapporteurs. I think we have 5 of them, and then we'll have a follow-up session. Just these 2 things as our main issues in this session. Can I therefore dive quickly into it? I listened in on the session led by Prof. Dr. Kumbi, and I think I should take the privilege of asking him to go in first with his report. Are you ready, Kumbi?
Yes, I am, Chair. I'm ready, Chair. I must say that what Prof. Odiyo and the team are doing in Solen in the community, it's amazing and it's interesting work, because it is at the core of what we're trying to achieve here. I think the first thing for me was to look at how there is water in communities, but water that get to be collected from everywhere in the community, is it really safe for people to drink? And the answer, based on the presentation, you look at it is no. So there is a huge need for the department itself to really assist in terms of making sure that water that people collect and water that really that is in communities, it is closely monitored, and before it can be used for drinking in or cooking in the household, it must be cleaned so that it is safe for people to use. So I think that is the one thing that I got from there. But again, from our discussion, the one thing that I must say we got is the one thing interesting that we got is to look at how can we empower communities so that they are capable of voicing themselves with evidence. And I think that is one very important thing that this project is doing, that government, as Prof put it, that government will tell you that, no, we don't talk to academic, we won't talk directly to academic, but we talk to communities, we are accountable to communities. But how, as academics, activists, also Hamida came through with that, activists, advocacy group, and civil society organization, how can we empower communities, give them information so that the moment they go to government institutions, they are empowered enough to be able to put forward their arguments, so that even the government institution themselves will see that there is a need to assist in that regard. Because the communities with such initiatives, communities end up relying on organizations that come in to assist. But in reality, it is not the mandate of these organizations to be able to offer these services. According to the Constitution of the Republic, it is the department should be the one offering these services. But because of the complexities, as the Prof also put it, that one, we have to always make sure that you delineate between politics and doing community work. So when you're doing community work, you also need to make sure that communities do not take you as you are the service provider, or you are the person that is there to offer these services, but you are there to really assist. But I think the other thing also that came out is the knowledge, the enormous knowledge that we have within communities. And I think that also is being shown from the department as they are doing a lot of tests with some of plant, indigenous knowledge that exists in terms of defluoridation of water, and trying to make sure that they extract metals from water using indigenous knowledge. So now with the combination of community knowledge plus academic knowledge or any other groups that come in to assist, it is a powerful combination that really assists in terms of making sure that water is safe at the community level. So I think in a nutshell, that is what we got in our session. But again, in terms of way forward, the main thing that was stressed was to say that how can we make sure that communities, civil societies, academics work together to empower community members, so that and everyone need to understand that the right responsibilities and accountability, all those lines have to be put together to be made clear, and then so that we can make sure that water access and provision at the community level is achievable. Thanks. I think in a nutshell, that's what came from our session.
Thanks, Kumbi. We'll come back to you in a discussion on this. Let's go to the next one. Is the rapporteur for social audits of access to water available? I don't have, I'll only ask someone to come in and give a 5-minute report on that.
Yes, thank you. My name is Diana Sanchez Betancourt. I was sharing the session, but together with Henrietta, who was to report, we put together a small slide. I'm presenting just because she would need to leave soon after. But Henrietta, please feel free to jump in and supplement anything that I said, and any of the other colleagues that were part of this conversation. But just in a nutshell, so we were exposed to the really great value of this tool, which is social audits, which is a tool that facilitates community monitoring of the government service delivery and expenditure. So it's very in line to what my previous colleague was saying. And it's very powerful because it teaches communities on how to study government documentation, compare them, and understand their roles as citizens and recipients of public services. It entails a process to gather evidence and to actually legitimize the community experience. It involves like physical verification. So we thought it was very important for what the Limpopo experience was teaching us, of the importance of not only having on paper and on indicators and municipalities saying that there has been a system built, but actually going with communities and verify if citizens are actually receiving the service, how, what are the good things, what are the bad things. Very important of this tool is that communities also receive training on how to read government documents and how to collect the data needed. It is for now mainly an urban tool, so it has some limitations from some of the areas that we have been discussing here in terms of Limpopo, but that doesn't mean that it cannot be applied and further adapted. It has shown important impacts in different areas of the country, and particularly they explained the positive experiences in a municipality like Ekurhuleni. And when we discussed what were the elements behind this success, some of the elements were like establishing a relationship already with the municipality beforehand and running a collaborative process. So, and then finally, it was just like very key that this tool is used as part of a bigger, larger effort and ideally a coalition. So again, this brings back to what we were discussing earlier this morning of the importance of academics, civil society, municipalities, and the private sector coming together. So our 3-4 proposals finally, or just observations, was like, this definitely needs to be a community-led process, and that's the value that it brings in this conversation. It is a critical tool to be integrated into all aspects of the conversation and to be decided how, of course, can be further refined. It helps for government and municipalities to push them to become more transparent. And it is important for nurturing partnerships with local municipalities in the process, as well as with communities. And as Henrietta was saying, it offers important opportunities to partner with businesses that actually operate in the area, which is an area that hasn't been explored yet, but it has a lot of potential. So Henrietta, I don't know if you're still here, or Tando, any of the other colleagues, and if I miss anything, but that was in a nutshell.
You've captured everything, Diana. Thank you so much.